Welcome to Resistance Band Training Live. My name is Dave Schmitz, owner of ResistanceBandTraining.com. Thanks for joining me today. You know, all week I've been talking about the split stance, particularly the split squat that we had referenced Mike Boyle on that I saw last week. Well, now today I want to take you and show you how you can incorporate bands doing that split squat workout. I'll show you some direct exercises just doing the split squat, and then I'm going to show you some ways you can integrate a total body exercise. Alright, so let's go ahead. We're just using a mini band today. Hey, the bigger the band you go, the more work. So you know you can go to any band you want. But let me take you through some of the easy setups, okay? One of the setups I like to use a lot is called a half harness, or a half crossover. I basically put the band onto my shoulder, alright, cross it over, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook it onto my left foot to go ahead and create the resistance. Now this is important. When you go to hook up any kind of crossover setup, push down on the band and bring your foot into it. So many people, when they do it, they try to bend over and hook their band on the foot. What happens is then the band slides forward. You don't want to do that. Grab the band. Notice I got it in both hands. I'm just pushing down. I stretch it. It's a very easy setup. Drop right in. Make sure it's on the arch of your foot. And you're ready to go ahead. Pop yourself up. And you're ready to go. Now, a couple of cool things. I always talk about bands being proprioceptive and stimulating. Well, this setup is awesome because not only is it going to stimulate my hip, but it's also going to stimulate my scapula because of the load. As I go down into my single leg squat, my left hip's loaded, all right? My right shoulder is going to be allowed to come forward a little bit. My left shoulder is going to drop back. Perfect. Because by getting my left shoulder to drop back, it's going to activate my hip tremendously and really kick it in. That's part of the postural feedback system that we have. That's why posture is so important when we exercise. Once again, this system, loading down, as I go down, I can really keep my posture nice and stable, and when I do that, my left hip rock and rolls. So the half crossover setup is a great way to do it. Now, let's say you're doing a 20-10, no problem. Here's how you switch real quickly. You drop down, you let it drop in between your legs. You take it up over top, set it, and you're ready to go. But now this time, instead of stepping into it with the front of the foot, you got to step into it with the heel. Now you're set up. Same setup, same crossover. I just pop my foot up, go ahead and put my foot back on the stool, and I'm ready to go again. So easy to go ahead and transition. A 20-10 workout is phenomenal with the band. Now once again, let's hop back out of it. Let's go back over here because I want to point out a couple other things about the crossover setup. I told you that proprioceptively it creates a vector, force vector, that makes me stabilize and really keep myself upright. Well, interesting enough, by going ahead and putting my foot back onto the bench, once I find it, the band hooking right onto my left butt. As I go down, I push my left butt into my hand. You know, we always talk about pushing your hips back as you go into a squat. Well, this is the perfect way to go ahead and do that because they're going to push against the band and drop down. And if they do it well, the band stays nice and stable on their shoulders. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dave, what if I have a shorter individual? How do I deal with that? Well, pretty easy. You need to make the band shorter. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll put a little knot at the end of the band. Now, essentially that just shortens up my band. I make sure that the knot is not under my foot. I push down. I step in just like I did before, but now I have that knot there. I've just shortened up my band. So now I put my foot back again once I find my stool, and here I go. And now I'm going again. Remember, the band can stretch 2 yards. So therefore, it's very easy to go ahead and incorporate the band by just shortening it. You're not going to overstretch it. Make sure you pop the knot out when you're done so it doesn't stay in there, and you're good to go. So that's how you can adapt the band to shorter individuals. Now let me show you another quick way to do a single leg squat and really rock and roll. You go into what we call the front squat hold position. Put one foot forward, put the band up onto your shoulders, put your foot back onto the stool, and you're in a front squat position, dropping down. Very easy way. When you switch, all you do is put the foot down, step in, step out, reach back, and you're ready to go again into the same front squat position. Now the cool thing about this is you can go ahead and do other exercises like dropping down, going into overhead press. So one of the things I like to do is just split squats with overhead press. Of course, you got to be great balance, you got to have great stability, and that's an advanced exercise, but no big deal. Easy enough to do. Now another thing, if you don't want to load the vertical vector with a weight resistance, but you want to load the horizontal vector, a fun exercise to go ahead and do is one arm presses coming out while you're doing single leg squats. You know, I get real bored with doing the same old exercise all the time. So I'm always looking at how can I get my upper body and lower body working together, talking. The cool thing is in the split stance, L5S1 is sitting there going, all right, I'll stay stable. The trunk muscles say, cool, because then I don't have to work quite as hard, or I can work harder at communicating to the upper body and lower body and stabilizing even more effectively. So now my upper body doing the pushing gets a lot of work. My lower body doing the pressing gets a lot of work. Dude, the split stance is an awesome, awesome way to train. I want to thank Mike Boyle for pointing that out to us this week. And I hope you enjoyed this week's expanded version of Resistance Band Training Live, coming to you from www.resistancebandtraining.com. Thanks for joining me this week. Have a great weekend. Have a great Halloween weekend. And I'll talk to you next week.